All right, guys, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. My name is Eric Paulzine with 905 Sports. Going to be getting into the top picks here for the Monday Night Showdown game. We got the LA Rams versus the San Francisco 49ers, a game in which should be fun to watch NFL-wise. DFS-wise, not going to be the best, but we are going to be attacking the Niners and hopefully getting the Rams players correct. The Rams have been pretty direct with who they've been playing, so it should be easier to kind of predict. So without further ado, let's get into this slate. So I'm going to start off with the Rams just because they have been very direct with their plan of attack for each game pretty much. A lot of their top end players are playing a lot of snaps. You look at Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp has played in 100% of the snaps thus far for the LA Rams. Okay, that is going to mean more likely than not he's going to be extremely consistent like he has been thus far. Over 16 DK points in every game thus far. He had a drop touchdown in the last game that, it happens, whatever. As a drop pass, he probably should have caught it, would have had a much better, more productive DFS day. Going against the Niners, they are one of the best matchups on the slate, or worst matchups on the slate. The Niners defense is great against receivers, and that's where the hesitation comes for the LA Rams, especially for an LA Rams offense that, I wouldn't say they'd look bad, but they certainly haven't looked like what our expectations were for them. A lot of that could be due to Matthew Stafford kind of nursing an injury somewhat still, kind of went under the radar, but maybe that's the cause. Matthew Stafford, I think he's a little bit priced up for this slate, given the matchup with the Niners too. They've just been good against quarterbacks. Now, yes, part of that was due to that rain game in week 1, but still, they've been really good. Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson are both priced up a little bit too much for the amount of snaps that they're playing and for the amount of opportunities that they're gaining. We have seen Cam Akers go from, minimal snaps in week 1 to 46% of the snaps in week 2 and then 50% of the snaps in week 3. That tells us that he is still going to be splitting time with Darrell Henderson, and they might just be going with more of a hot hand approach now going forward. Cam Akers looked a little bit better in week 3 than did Darrell Henderson, but we saw Darrell Henderson be a little bit more productive in week 1 and week 2. To me, just given their price points, once again, and the matchup, they're kind of just stayaways. Allen Robinson has seen a decent amount of targets the last 2 games. Should have had a touchdown in both of the last 2 games. Allen Robinson had a bad drop touchdown in week 3. Pretty much the exact same targets, usage. It was a goal line touchdown, red zone touchdown that he should have had that he dropped against the Cardinals. So the good thing about Allen Robinson is he's being used in the way in which you kind of thought he'd be used, which is more of a red zone target. If they get to the red zone, he is the guy they're going to with fades and such. So like if it's a second down play, 2nd and 3, they might just give him a fade shot. Okay, he dropped one, so who knows if they're going to go back to that. But the good news for Allen Robinson is that he's been playing in over like 94% of the snaps for the LA Rams. That is a big thing, okay? And at this price point, he is certainly in play because he is kind of priced down a little bit. Not someone you're going out of your way to play, but if you end up on him to close out your build, you're feeling pretty good about it. A lot of people, probably overdrafted Allen Robinson in drafts. Whatever, like don't let that bias kind of hurt you. I will say Tyler Higbee though and Ben Skoranek, who we'll get into, are both very cheap as well given their usage. So whereas Kupp has not missed the snap, he's playing 100% of the snaps for the LA Rams. Tyler Higbee's missed 2. He's played in 96% of the snaps for the LA Rams. He's been getting targeted a ton, okay? 11, 9, 4, averaging 11 DK points. He's just kind of the safety valve right now for Matthew Stafford. Given the amount of snaps that he's playing and given the price point, it wouldn't be shocking to see him 2x. Once again, not someone I'm going out of my way to play, but if I certainly end up on him, I feel great about it. And then same thing with Ben Skoranek, who I've kind of just ended up on the most, just given the price point. He's the cheapest of the LA Rams players that are playing a lot of snaps. Skoranek is playing in over 87% of the snaps for the LA Rams. Okay, they're using him in a bunch of ways. As a fullback, as kind of a lead blocker, tight end split out. It's weird, okay? They like him. They're going to continue to use him, it seems like. And it just wouldn't be shocking to see him get those 4 to 7 targets or so in this game. Can he turn that into a productive day? We'll see. He's not getting any of those manufacturer plays like Cooper Kupp gets. Okay, if they get to the red zone, he's not going to get that fade end zone look like Allen Robinson. He is the 3rd, maybe 4th look on plays, and that's kind of the issue with him. But the good news is he is playing a lot of snaps, and maybe they do some sort of, sneaky fullback screen to him, which is strange. And he has been playing fullback a lot, or a decent amount. And it seems like when Cam Akers is in the game, he is playing fullback. Just something I thought was fun to monitor there. But yeah, at his price point, I really don't mind him. And then from there, we just don't get any good value for the Rams. Like, it's just not out there because no one's playing enough snaps. Like, that's just it. If you want to play maybe the Rams D or Matt Gay, you could, but like, it is what it is. The plays are just the plays. For the Niners, on the flip side of that, it's a little bit different. The Niners get the LA Rams, at least for the receivers, who are the best matchup, or one of the best matchups for opposing receivers, giving up 53.6 DK points per week to the opposing receivers. That's a lot, obviously. So like Deebo Samuel, who is playing in that hybrid role, probably is priced up a little bit too much. He is still getting targeted, and he's still getting a lot of rushing attempts. Like, if he scores a touchdown in one of these two games, we're extremely excited about the productive day that he had. If he continues to get these targets, that is something I will really like. And just given the pricing on the slate, he is pretty easy to fit into your builds. From there, like, if you can fit in Jimmy G into your builds, I suggest that you do, but also not someone I'm like going crazy out of my way to play. The reason I want to play him is because I'm going to be on a lot of the Niners pass catchers. The reason I don't want to play him is because he's priced up. I'd rather play Cooper Kupp for the LA Rams at a similar price point. And you guys will see as I go through this build, you're going to have a lot of salary left over. So Jeff Wilson Jr. playing 74% of the snaps for the Niners last week, had a very productive game. He's had two very productive games thus far. If you want to play him, you can, but the LA Rams defense is certainly a tough one. The thing I want to point out about like Jimmy G and Jeff Wilson is that has led to more snaps for fullback Kyle Juszczyk. In week 1, Kyle Juszczyk did not have that many snaps. It was like 36% of the snaps. Since Jeff Wilson and Jimmy G have become like QB1 and RB1, he's seen 55% of the snaps. So could he get one like sneaky lucky play, dump off play like he did last week for 3.4? Given the price point, like, that would be fine. Same thing with against Seattle. It's like, can he get a lucky touchdown? Sure. We're not counting on it. Like, we're not like crazy with it. But once again, if you find yourself in this price point where you like the rest of your build and he's the last player into your build, I'm fine with it. Like, he's not a terrible value play if you choose to go that route. Another value play that wouldn't be terrible if you end up on him is going to be Jauan Jennings. He's seen 6, 2, and 3 targets, and he's playing in about 45% of the receivers or of the snaps for the Niners, which not terrible. At 2K in a great matchup, obviously one of the weakest matchups you can get. That's something you do want to target. And maybe they do more 3 receiver sets because of this matchup. I could see that happening. And at 2K, Jennings is pretty cheap for a guy that should be able to hit value, because I do think they are going to go more 3 receiver sets, try to attack the Rams via the passing game. I do want to point out George Kittle here, who George Kittle came in and played a lot of snaps, 91% of the snaps for the Niners. Okay, that is huge. That means, he was injured. He came in and played a lot of snaps. They waited till he was healthy, and now he is good to go. Saw 5 targets, had 6.8 DK points. Denver is a tough defense, okay? Like, I'm not too worried about that. The LA Rams are a tough defense against opposing tight ends, but we know they can use George Kittle as more of a receiver type player. They can split him out. He's one of the best tight ends in the league. I'm not too worried about that matchup saying that, the LA Rams are one of the best tight end defenses. I'm not too worried about that with George Kittle. So he is someone, especially given this price point, given the amount of snaps that he's playing, given his talent, like, I really like him as a play. And then Brandon Aiyuk, probably my favorite play on the slate. You look at the last 2 weeks with Jimmy G, 8 and 8 targets, over 10 DK points in both of those. He's been a highly consistent receiver over the past calendar year now. So he is someone I'm looking at. You look at a snap count, it's over 90% of the snaps as well. So like, the consistency should be there for him. I do fully expect him to get 10 DK points in this one. I think he is a stellar play. So we can see the problem on this slate that I'm seeing is that we just do not have enough Rams players. That's kind of, it is what it is. I want the Niners a little bit more, but like, if we try to fit like Jimmy G in there, the lineup kind of sucks. So like, let's put Cooper Kupp into the captain spot. We still have $1,000 left over. That's kind of the issue. I do like this build a lot. I'd be fine putting this build out there, but let's try to make it a little bit more unique. Let's maybe pay up from Jauan Jennings, see what can happen if we do that. And there we go. So I like this build a decent amount as well. You look at Brandon Aiyuk playing in a lot of snaps, going to get around 6 to 8 targets. Ben Skoranek, kind of just a cheap pay down play that you can go with, who should be able to hit value. Deebo Samuel could go off on the slate. Tyler Higbee and George Kittle are both kind of the same plays where they're playing so many snaps. They are kind of a focal point in the offense currently. Obviously, George Kittle, better player, but I like the price points, cheap price points for players that could easily get 10 DK points. And you got Cooper Kupp there, obviously the standout play on the slate. The worry here is that we're fading all the running backs and we're fading both the quarterbacks, which is kind of weird, but we are getting the best of the skills players and we are making kind of the best build possible given the amount of playing time. this is like a playing time build that I'm going with here. So it should lead to like safe results. But that's all I have for you guys for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a like, subscribe. That helps out the channel, which then helps me help you guys out. I've grown a lot over the past month now, and I want to keep that up, okay? I appreciate all the support. Let's keep it going, but let's have a good slate. I'll be coming out with the core plays video for week 5. Tough to imagine it's already here, but fun stuff are happening each and every week for NFL DFS, so make sure to be subscribed. All right, thanks for watching, guys, and as always, let's keep cashing.